So, I mean, I'm asking for direction, but also asking for permission to just not have direction. So it feels like there is just so much ideas and stuff kind of, I'm picturing it like spinning in the air above me, this like whirlwind of just things. And so part of me wants to kind of sit under the whirlwind and just kind of look up at the whirlwind and be like, yeah, this is okay. This is happening. This is all just flowing around me versus the me that wants to control it and to just figure out what's next. So both being okay with it, but also getting the tools to keep moving forward and not getting stuck in just watching the whirlwind.
This is The Growth Moment with your coach, Amy Kay. Inspiration, ideas, and incredible insights for you to be more and do more. Get ready to grow today. How many times in your life have you felt overwhelmed by the whirlwind of responsibilities, tasks, multiple roles, and agendas across your life, not to mention hopes, dreams, and ideas of what else you want to do? So often, it's all just too much to sort through or make sense of. And it's easy to get paralyzed, to get stuck, unable to start anything new, know what's next, just surviving what's now. This is where the coaching with my guest Jessica begins. As she puts it, she is sitting under the whirlwind of all this stuff and wants direction, some clarity and action, both and permission to not have direction, to just be in a discovery space instead of needing to know and control exactly what's to come. Jessica is used to leading, directing, controlling. She wears a lot of different hats. Jess has built a group of successful restaurants from scratch, has 2 young children, and is involved with numerous give back community endeavors. Through it all, Jess has been dreaming of what's next, her even bigger purpose in the world. But it's been hard to find the time and space to even think about that what's next and her bigger self. As you listen, you get to think about your own whirlwind, what's swirling above and around you, the enormous, overwhelming amount of stuff to deal with. You get to contemplate if it's time for you to create space for what's next, the bigger you, to explore who you are at your core, what you want to bring to the world. This discovery process requires time and space. Use this episode to begin your own exploration, a moment despite the whirlwind, a moment to get a bit of clarity and direction for what might be next. Now, let's jump in as I ask Jess to just sit under her whirlwind, to be with the whirlwind and describe what it's like.
So like when you're a baby in a crib and there's like the mobile in front of you, or that's
Above
what
you,
those
yeah.
are called.
Yep.
Yeah, above you. I mean, some of the pieces are shiny. Some of them are like a grayish brown, like things that I don't really want to be having to deal with versus things that I'm like, ooh, I really want to go focus on that, or I want to go explore that. I think with, my current career that there are things in my current career that are the gray kind of yucky, like, ugh, I'm so tired of doing this. And then there's the shiny, like, possibilities of, maybe taking a different route or completely leaving the restaurant business or growing the restaurant business. Like, so trying to figure out how to still be responsible for the gray things that I'm not that excited about because I have businesses to run still, and still give myself permission to make time and space for the shiny stuff that is my future.
So really hear that, the shiny stuff that is my future, while both and being responsible and taking care of what you still choose to have in your whirlwind.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So take a big breath with holding both of those, not the either or, all or nothing. That I don't know if it's balance or if it's mix or what comes up as far as how do you describe having both?
Well, there's something that you told me a long time ago when I opened up PB&J's Carpinteria, and you told me about kind of this hats idea that, okay, Jess, you're going into PB&J's Carpinteria today, so you are wearing your PB&J's Carpinteria hat, and you don't have your cork tree hat on. I think I just had cork tree. I think I just had the one PB&J's at this time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was really able to visualize, like, okay, this is what I'm doing right now. I'm doing my PB&J's marketing hat. Okay, now I'm doing my PB&J's employee training hat. And so it was really kind of succinct and clear of the different tasks I was doing while wearing these different hats. And I feel like I had space for that. But I think now with being a mother, because that's obviously added into the mix, and then having two more PB&Js besides the PB&J's Carpinteria, and also wanting to kind of discover what's next for me, it's like there's too many hats, and I don't know how to. I feel like there's so much to do that I get stuck in doing nothing. And you know what my nothing is? It's not really nothing, but I don't feel like I
Oh
can.
God, but it's the pieces that aren't important. You're getting stuck doing, I don't know if this is right, so toss it back if it isn't.
Mhm.
Getting stuck doing the minutia, getting stuck doing the bullshit, getting stuck doing the stuff that doesn't feel purposeful.
Yes, absolutely. This past year, absolutely, just because of me having to be kind of boots on the ground instead of bigger picture growing of the businesses, absolutely that part. But also, okay, if I do this big picture for Cork Tree, I'm going to have to put in this much time and energy. But if I do this big picture for PB&Js, I'm going to have to put in this much time and energy. But if I want to be like a really good mom, I can't do all that time and energy. So
Mm-mm-mm. So there's not enough space, not enough time.
there's not enough space. So I feel like because there's so much that needs to be done, slash, I want to do, I get stuck in not doing anything because I'm like, well, I can't really start that because that means I won't have enough time to do that. And what I'm saying is, yes, I'm doing the day to day minutia because I have businesses to run, but kind of like we've talked about the bigger picture, overseeing stuff that makes, in my opinion, in my experience, what my businesses need to be just driven, thriving businesses.
And that's the word that was coming to me too, thriving.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hearing, not to, make it sound too dire, because I know it's not, but there's been a lot of surviving for you,
Mm-hmm.
especially with the pandemic being in restaurant business. Good Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of surviving, a lot of juggling, but not a lot of big picture up where you love to be that feeds your heart and soul and your brain thriving.
Yes, exactly.
And it sounds like it's felt, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it sounds like it's felt maybe a bit like a trap,
Mm-hmm.
like that you're trapped in this hamster wheel cycle. Then,
Yes,
okay,
1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah.
just take a big breath. We were talking before before the recording about how you've been swearing a lot.
Yes.
And that your friend said, "Oh, Tess, it sounds like perhaps you're angry."
Yeah, because swearing isn't really usually it's not really in my bag. It's not,
It's not your go-to.
no.
I imagine you're frustrated in this trap, but are you angry?
It's funny because, yeah, there's definitely things that have made me angry, but I also feel like for some reason, this pandemic has given me permission to not give a fuck,
Mm,
in the sense of, gosh, like having a business for 13 years in a small town where you have to rely on basically everybody liking you.
yeah,
If,
the goodwill of the community.
right. And as you know, Ames, gosh, I love our community. I have such a love.
You are a pillar, Jess. You are a pillar of the community.
Yeah.
I mean, I get to say that. Maybe you won't own that, but you have always, from the day you opened the first restaurant, wanted to be there for the community.
Right. And I still do. I mean, that's definitely something that is really deep seated in
It's in your
my
DNA, it's in your wiring.
wants and
Yeah.
goals. Yes, totally. Cuz I mean, I've been supported so much by this community, and so my love and need to give back is deep. On the flip side, I just kind of stopped caring about what people liking me and trying to like always
Mm.
edit
Mm.
who I am around certain people. Like, oh, should I not say this? Should I not say fuck? Should I not say shit? And kind of taking away of really, who I am at the core. And I'm a great person. I'm a good person. I have a big heart. And if you don't like me,
Mhm.
all right.
So, Jess, who are you at your core? In addition to being a good person, this bigger self that you've been itching to get to. Who are you, and who is this bigger Jessica? This whole business of how to figure out what's next is a common coaching challenge. I've had hundreds of coaching conversations about the nagging, elusive, what is my bigger purpose? Who is my bigger self? So many people never move into the shiny future activities because they're too trapped by all or nothing thinking, stuck in doing nothing, the minutia, the BS, because it feels like there's never time for the bigger picture. So why bother? Like Jessica, you might need to make space for the shiny stuff that is your future while dealing with the gray stuff, the have to do's in your current world. It is indeed a balancing act. But in order to make space, you have to realize you have a choice, that it really is possible. My job as a coach is often just to dial up awareness, help you really feel, sense, know acutely where you are. That's where change becomes possible. Awareness first, then choice. So with Jess, I'm listening to where she is, what she's experiencing, helping her make it explicit, how it feels like a trap, but at the same time, how the pandemic has given her permission to not worry so much about what other people think. That's when it started to open up, when Jessica started to feel at choice, and then we could move into who is that bigger self. Make your own growth moment right now. Raise your awareness of where you are, what you're ready to let go of, and step into your bigger self. Now back to Jessica as she begins to answer that who is the bigger Jessica question.
When you ask me that question, I feel my heart, like my physical.
Mm,
Well, actually, I don't know. Maybe it's not my actual heart
go,
because I'm
go
not very.
ahead.
I just feel it in my chest, kind of this. Uh,
Put your hands there right now.
okay.
Like go ahead and let it out. Let it get big.
I am deeply sensitive. I am emotionally connected. I'm very intuitive, and I have an innate want and need to help and take care of people. I love to laugh, and I mean, nothing, it sounds kind of weird, but nothing gives me more joy than humor. Like, it's just witty, bantering is just, it's so much fun to me. Creative ideas, connecting with people on a deeper level. You and I once had a conversation how small talk isn't our jam. We're like, all right, anyways, let's get this, let's get the
Moving on. Can
niceties
we
out
go
of the
deep,
way. Yeah.
please?
Yes. Self discovery. I love to learn more about myself, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very impatient.
You like to move fast. You like to go forward. You don't like, yeah, going around in circles.
No, I have high expectations for myself and for others,
Very.
others who are in my life, and I like to figure out. I like excellence and I like to figure out the quickest way from point A to point B, not in a way of not dotting all my I's and crossing my T's, but like efficient, being efficient. And that's kind of where the impatience comes in as I'm like, what is wrong with you that you can't see things my way?
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a brat like that.
And Jessica, can we own it? You are a natural born leader.
Yes, we can own that.
Can we? Because that doesn't sound very ony.
Yes, I can own that. Yep. I'm a leader. I am a leader.
Nice. So here's the other part that was coming up. So, who are you at your core? That's one piece. And if you want to take that, that's maybe your first homework. Yes, no, counteroffer. Jess, will you write out, draw out, whatever feels most powerful? This is Jessica at her core.
Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And just to get very coachy, by when can I see that?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, who you are at your core. And then when we talked about beautiful small town, incredible small town where you've created these restaurants and in a few different spots and the importance of community, here's my other big question. What's the community you want to serve now?
Big.
How big? Tell me about it.
National. Yeah. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, I mean, we've talked about before how I believe that some of the work that I'm doing with you, with our group, my club kind stuff, that bigger picture is like, I don't want to be famous. I know that I don't want to be famous, but I do want to be influential.
So feel what's the difference?
I think fame is really scary because I think you're relying on others to, well, I guess
Well,
you
it's that
don't.
whole liking thing. You're
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
same issue.
Yes.
Fame is relied on people liking you.
Right. And I'm worried that by putting myself out there, I want to get a bigger picture influence because I do feel like I have good to offer and I want to make a good impact on this world. And I feel like I have a burning inside of me of doing something. I don't know what it is yet, but doing something. But along with that comes, opinions and what if somebody doesn't think I'm worthy or smart enough or no, I don't have a PhD and
You don't have a PhD in being good and kind
mhm,
and making the world a better place.
mhm, mhm. Yeah,
Just what do you have?
life experience and a big heart.
And a big heart.
Mhm,
And at your core, I think we got to add in there a hell of a lot of drive, initiative,
mhm.
creative ability across a lot of different areas.
I have grit.
You do have grit.
Mhm,
When it gets hard, you freaking still get it done.
mhm.
You have met adversity again and again.
Yeah.
So just feel it. Now we're looking at the whirlwind and those shiny objects. Tell me a little bit more about like grab a couple shiny objects. What are they?
And that's the thing is that I don't know. I don't know what they are yet.
All right. And then so actually now I'm reversing course because I'm like, yeah, I don't think we're meant to look at and define all the shiny objects yet. You said at the beginning that you need more space to even look at the shiny objects, to
Mhm,
see more about who you are now.
mhm,
Feel where you want to influence. Is that right?
mhm.
All right. So, babe, how are you going to get more space? It's the most important question of all. Who is this bigger you? Owning the true core of who you are, the heart, the essence, claiming the truth of your being. It is one of the most precious, sacred tasks I get to do as a coach. Asking that question and witnessing the answer. The best way to get to what's next for your life, to explore the shiny objects, is from a place of owning who you be right now. I'm asking, who are you at your core? Your biggest self. Move past the instinct to talk about the superficial parts or to be worried about singing your own praises. Go ahead, write, describe, draw your core. Set your own due date. This is vital homework, powerful. This is the starting point for amplifying and moving into your deeper purpose. If you need help, there is nothing I would rather do than help you own your full self so you can be and do more in this world. Let's pick back up with Jessica. Now that she did some claiming of who she is, I asked her how she will get more space to explore her shiny objects.
Well, I got to get a lot more organized. And I think, honestly, after my kids went back to school full time, which was not that long ago, I kind of had a week of like, I mean, it's not like it was adrenaline for a year, but got to get through this, got to get through this, got to get through this, got to get through this. And then that week after they went back to school and I had free time to myself, like no one was here at the house, I kind of went into this like almost, okay, now I'm finally able to just not have a zillion things to do and try to fit it all in. And almost like you get so used to fitting all the zillion things in that when you have more time, you kind of don't really know what to do with yourself because
Mhm.
you're not used to it.
So I don't know if this is the right direction, but I mean, one,
Okay.
you have some time this month with the kids at school.
Hmm.
But then you've got summer coming. So my brain is going to, how can we make sure you have time?
I have set them up with camp. So I did
Okay.
get,
So
yes,
you've done a good job.
yes. It's more like structuring my days. I've been trying to give myself an hour each day for kind of discovery type stuff, like courses and this
Well, I
and
was
that.
going to say, can we really block off big picture space
Hmm.
where the only hat you're wearing is looking at the shiny objects, looking at yourself, looking at your core, just
Hmm.
that free permission
Yeah,
for discovery.
absolutely.
So tell me a couple of things, daily, weekly, even monthly. How much space? What does the schedule look like for that hat?
I think realistically, an hour a day, Monday through Friday.
Okay. And then if you pulled up a little bit higher and said, okay, you get that hour a day, either weekly, monthly, quarterly, whatever you wish,
Hmm.
would there also be a chunk of time
Hmm. Yeah.
that's longer than an hour?
Yeah.
Like a little mini retreat for Jessica.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Yeah, I think so. Probably quarterly at this point.
If you could have it the way you want it, what would that quarterly retreat look like? Get selfish for a moment.
Oh, just going away with maybe some girlfriends, maybe myself, just by myself.
And so you can have your girlfriend time,
Hmm.
but I'm going to be the advocate and holding up the flag for a Jessica retreat.
Okay.
And you tell me, it could be a day, it could be a couple nights away where you just go and you got a big journal and you're walking and you're daydreaming and you're saying, how much time would you like?
Um, 2 nights.
Okay. So, Jess, yes, no counteroffer. Will you schedule a 2 night Jessica discovery retreat by when?
By July.
Okay. So feel into that. Like take a deep breath. Imagine the calendar. And yes, there's lots of little how things that have to happen to make those arrangements, but put that stake in the ground with me right now.
Hmm.
A 2 night Jessica discovery retreat by July.
Done.
On a scale of 1 to 10. Yeah. Where is that ringing?
10.
Okay.
I'm picturing literally a flag. For some reason, July 15th comes into mind, but like, yeah.
Okay.
Hmm.
Yay. So, how does this change the game from surviving to thriving?
It's taking back the reins and putting a plan in place.
Putting a commitment, committing.
Hmm. Hmm. And just doing instead of thinking about, I don't know what it is.
So notice right now, close your eyes, notice your body, notice your heart, your head, your gut, all the pieces. What's coming up?
Solidity, is that even a word?
It is.
Like, okay, game plan.
Solidity. So I want you to feel the core of you right now, because this is Jess. This is the Jess that started so many businesses. This is the Jess that has done all kinds of community work and been an influencer and leader for years.
Mm-hmm.
This is you leading.
Time to get back on that horse.
Yeah. And this is how you thrive, is by being yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is about creating space for, your highest purpose, your bigger self.
And, I think with like the whirlwind, like talking about the whirlwind, just like
Oh, yeah.
kind of taking someone's hand and being like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Leave the whirlwind, but let's put some things in place where at least you feel like there is some moving forward momentum, and it doesn't have to be stopping the whirlwind. It's just like walking under the whirlwind in a forward fashion.
Oh, I like that. So not getting sucked up by it, distracted, pinned down even by it.
Right. It's just like, okay, yeah, there's this whirlwind kind of going on top of my head. It might always be there, but what are some, I'm like picturing like a Candyland board, right? Like, well, obviously, because I have an 8 and 6-year-old, but um, because it's like, I'm just moving forward. My steps are moving forward, and there's all this stuff around me, but I'm still moving forward.
In the end, Jess remembered that she already knows how to move forward. It was just about taking the reins back, making a plan, taking the very next step. This is how Jess starts to change the game from surviving to thriving. But it's tying the plan to her bigger self. That's what makes it a game changer. Jessica went on to outline a bunch of additional commitments: restarting her give back to the community group, planning a retreat for women later in the year, putting stakes in the ground with dates and those very next tangible steps. She also worked on how she can reset expectations around her different roles, what she will and won't be doing going forward, all so she can balance the gray areas with the bright, shiny objects. If you are ready to not only claim the core of who you are, your bigger self, but also to explore your own shiny objects, I challenge you to create the space. What does the schedule look like for your discovery? Is it time daily, weekly, monthly? Will you prioritize your own mini retreat? What's your stake in the ground for your bigger picture and purpose? Put something in the calendar. Do it. I can't tell you how much I believe in you, what you're capable of, how important it is to lean into your full potential. I would be honored to help you explore. Feel free to contact me for your own growth moment, whether it's one-on-one private coaching or joining one of my coaching groups. Go to thegrowthmoment.com to get tips and tools. And please remember to subscribe, follow on your favorite podcast app. Now get out there and grow today.